Okie dokie. Yet again, I am uploading a video a day late. Thanks, BV2Unbest. You're amazing. Amazing. Just woo. Hell yeah. Alright, down to business. Video of the day is gonna be top weapons that I think should be added to Destiny 2. I got a bunch. I had an obscure number. I think it was like some weird... It wasn't 10, it wasn't 5, so I was like, might as well just put top weapons instead of top 10 or top 5 because I don't want to cop out. So, let's get right down to it. Obligatory shameless plug stuff. Alright, now we're going to start. So, first I have some honorable mentions. So, weapons that are technically already in the game, but should be changed a little bit. So, slug shotguns should be made their own weapon type, just like linear fusion rifles were made as their own weapon types. Like, seriously, you look at linear fusion, there's like 5 of them. But there's also like 5 slug shotguns, therefore I think they should be their own weapon type. They do function rather differently compared to regular shotguns, so I would say that they should be in their own slot. And I'm aware that the only reason linear fusions are in a different slot is because they're heavy. But you know what I mean. Like, I still think they should be separated. Also, we need more trace rifles. We've got 3 exotics, and on consoles we got, and on Xbox and PC we got 2. Like, come on. Bunch. Like, I want legendaries. At least legendaries. Blues, greens, and whites would be cool for trace rifles, but I think legendary might be the best we can get. But that's okay. Legendary trace rifles would be awesome. And those are all the honorable mentions. Let's get into the real content. Woo! Alright, our first weapon will be the crossbow. It functions like a bow, but instead of knocking the arrow and pulling it back and drawing it, you just put the arrow in, load it, and fire it. Like, it's always at a charge, so you don't have to worry about, let's just say, getting the max charge on it, or making sure the arc or something like that. It's just loaded in, ready to go, and it's easy as that. That's what I would look for in a crossbow, but it would be a lower range than a bow, just because of the way it functions, or maybe higher range, depending on the way it functions, but that's whatever. Next up, heavy machine guns. You're probably like, wait, we already got heavy machine guns in the game, what are you talking about? Now, the answer to that would be heavy machine guns like, remember in Halo Reach, those machine guns, the turrets that you pulled off of the, that you can pull off, and you could use them in third person. That's what I'm looking for. Heavy machine guns that you can use in third person. Like, you should be able to take them out of your inventory, hold your weapon swap, pick the weapon, and you'll go into third person with this humongous machine gun. Like, this is like TF2 heavy, like insane Gatling gun type thing. This gun is a massive, and yeah, just a really big machine gun in the heavy weapon slot, as well as LMGs, because they technically mean light machine guns. Next up, probably the most absurd thing I've thought of today, target locators from Halo Reach. Remember that thing? Yeah, the like absolute missile strike of the century. That is correct, the missile strike. I think this should be a weapon in itself, maybe as a relic, but I think it could be a weapon, a heavy weapon, have it a limited ammo or something like that. Make it cool. Like, this would make Destiny have this super AoE effect, but maybe give it the perk, something I like to call famine. Instead of surplus, it gives less ammo. So it'd be harder to get ammo, but the yielding damage from this weapon would be absolutely absurd. Alright. What's next? I got other melee weapons. So, obviously we have swords. Everybody knew we had swords. We've had swords. We have a good amount of swords, honestly. And I'm really looking for maybe primary melee weapons, special ammo weapons, special ammo melee weapons, and other heavy ammo melee weapons. Obviously the primary and special versions would do less damage, and they just be more interesting. Like, seriously, I think it'd just be more interesting to have more melee weapons. Like, if you wanted to run 3 swords, you could. Like, that's what the cool part would be. So, I got a little spiel written down here on my script here. And for primary melee weapons, you would use, you know, daggers and smaller items. For special ones, you use smaller swords, maybe dual knives. And for other heavy weapons, you could use a club, a dark blade axe, a hammer, dual wield swords. That'd be pretty cool. So, yeah. Next up, I'm going to combine these into these two types of weapons into one. So we have dual wield sidearms and dual wield hand cannons. Now, I think the dual wield mechanic from Halo 3 and 2 are really, really awesome, and I think those could be re-implemented into Destiny in a really, really awesome way. So what would happen here is we'd be saying, okay, I want 2 hand cannons or 2 sidearms. Like, they'd be one weapon in the slot. You'd have 2 hand cannons or 2 sidearms. And there'd be 2 ways, there'd be 2 versions. So one version of a dual wield sidearm or dual wield hand cannon would be that the right trigger or your shoot button would fire both weapons, and the left trigger would do ADS for both weapons. But the reload obviously would be very slow, but the bloom would be bad even when ADSing because you're firing 2 weapons at once. So the accuracy of these weapons wouldn't be very good, but the damage overall would be incredibly massive, especially from closer ranges. And then the other way that the dual wield sidearms and dual wield hand cannons should exist is that the right trigger or the shoot button does firing, the right gun, and the ADS button or the left trigger would be your firing the left weapon. So you're always hip firing. And this would give you more control in how you fire, so you could do pop, 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 you know, right, left, or you could do them simultaneously. You do both, obviously yielding less accuracy, but still being able to have high damage from closer ranges, but not too OP. Next up, we're getting to the big boys, my 2 favorites. First, we got the Riot Shield. This weapon would be, well, is it really a weapon? Nah, I'm kidding, it's a weapon. It's a Riot Shield, and here's natively, I think they should be in the heavy slot. But I also think they should be a, what do you call them? A partner weapon to melee weapons. So this would be more of a defensive weapon. Obviously, your shoot button would do a lunge attack, you know, would do a lunge attack if you have only the shield out, and then the melee button would do a small attack with the shield, and then the ADS button would put it into a defensive position. So you could block stuff and hit stuff at the same time. But there are also 3 types of Riot Shields. There would be a primary, a special, and a heavy. The primary shield would be a smaller shield that you just run around with, and you can't fire anyway. Now, yes, this is supposed to be partnered with weapons. So what you could do is a primary shield can be taken out and cannot be partnered with other weapons, but it can be partnered with a sword. The special shield is a medium-sized shield that you can't run with. Oh, that's another thing. The small shield you can run with, but for the medium-sized shield, you're not allowed to run, but you can use a primary weapon with it or a sword. And then for the heavy shield, you can use, that is a large shield, full Riot Shield, and you can use a primary or special weapon while using this weapon, or a sword. Now you're probably asking me, can you use a heavy sword? The answer is no, and that's for balance's sake, because you could hold that defensive position, run up, walk up, slice someone, put it back up, and just keep doing it. So you have to use a primary or special melee weapon. That is why I say, or you can use a primary or special weapon, like a shotgun. So you could shield, go up, fire, put the shield back up, fusion rifle, you know, auto rifle, sniper, sidearm. You could use whatever with the heavy shields. And for the special shields, again, you can only use primary weapons or swords. And for the primary shield, you can only use the sword. And that's it. Now, that Riot Shields are awesome and all, but we're missing something. Something ever so amazing from Halo 3 yet again that should be added to Destiny. And just Bungie, come on, you got me. Come on, you guys gotta do me. From Halo 3, let's bring it back, the flamethrower. One of the greatest weapons in Halo 3. Just kidding, to be honest, it wasn't that good, but Actually, it was okay. I'm getting sidetracked, sorry. So, the potency of flames will... Obviously, this is a heavy weapon, and this weapon will have certain amounts of firing for damage ticks, so it wouldn't fire... So obviously it would do fire, but the damage ticks would show up in certain increments. So you could have 1,000 rounds per minute, and that would work like a trace rifle. It would show up in the same amount of ticks as that, or a 500, where it would be a higher damage, lower tick rate. So what about ranges? Range is incredibly important for flamethrowers, and the thing about it is that obviously damage is going to be the same, but closer range flamethrowers are going to do more damage than long range flamethrowers. Long range flamethrowers are better for ad clear, and short range flamethrowers are going to be like shotguns, or I don't know, grenade launch. I don't know. They'll be like shotguns technically, because you have to be close, and they do large amounts of damage from the close range. And reloading a flamethrower, you gotta take that gas tank or whatever is gonna be providing energy for the flamethrower, take it out, put it back on, and it takes a long time. I mean, obviously, Riley Barricade, Lunafaction boots will fix that, but the reload speed for flamethrowers take forever. And I think on average, the ammo, not reserve ammo, the magazine should take 200, and you'd be able to go through that for, I don't know, good amount, based off the amount of time. Reserves would be 400 about, so that's max of 600. That's pretty good, I'd say. But different elements of flamethrowers would leave different types of effects. So solar damage flamethrowers would leave a damage over time. I don't even know what else it would do. Arc flamethrowers would do chain electricity. Obviously, that makes zero sense to have an arc flame, but we're just using Destiny here. But this arc energy also increases the range indirectly because of the chain lightning. And next, void flamethrowers will slow and suppress enemies while they're being engulfed within the flames. This one's actually going to be pretty helpful in PvP if you're using that. And I also don't think that they should all be exotic. They should all have like legendaries and stuff. So yeah, those are a bunch of weapons that I think should be added to Destiny 2. And I don't think these should all come in as only exotics. They should come in as exotics, legendaries, maybe even blues, green, uncommons and commons, maybe not. I don't think they should be commons and uncommons because these are like very specialty weapons. But these are the weapons. Let's take a quick look at what we just talked about. First, we had slug shotguns and trace rifles, just getting a little more representation in Destiny 2. Then I said crossbows, heavy machine guns that put you into third person, the target locator, other smaller melee weapons, dual wheel sidearms and dual wheel hand cannons, riot shields as a partner weapon for swords and a partner weapon for many others, and a defensive option for anything of your choice. And it's included in any type of slot. And last but not least, actually last but most certainly the most, flamethrower, a weapon that everyone desires, a great hit that I think everyone would love being added to Destiny 2. Now, that concludes the video. Let's talk about shameless plug stuff. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and do all the other what have yous that you'd like to. And if you didn't like it, dislike it, leave a comment telling me how I can improve for next time. Thank you. You all have a good day.